All right, so it looks like we have a total of three or so. I imagine as last time, a bunch of you, more of you will show up. All right, so this time, particularly talking about PowerPoints, there will be a lot of things that I will try to demonstrate. And these things take practice, or you can do them more quickly once you know what you're doing. So I would encourage you strongly you can raise your hand. There's a raise your hand button for, I believe you have that. If I click on reactions, and then I could raise my hand, and then so my hand is currently raised. And then eventually, if I'm done, I just go back to that reaction and I lower hands. So that's a great way without like turning your mic on and trying to get everyone's attention. So please do that. So just a little after 6, we will get started. Let me try to power through this PowerPoint, I guess you could say. So let's try that again. So here is our topic, and a lot of this will be done with the actual presentation pushed back and not actually presented like the full way like it is now. And a number of students recently have asked about PowerPoint presentations, and there's kind of a method to it that can really help you stay out of what I called pitfalls of PowerPoint presentations. Because I remember when PowerPoint was kind of first coming out, there was a lot of people using sounds and animations, and we all thought this was the greatest thing. But we've learned that there are other PowerPoint and things like it. There are ways to make it professional. There are ways to keep people's attention on your message, not on the pictures and the points, and keep PowerPoint in the background as an aid for learning, comprehension, and remembering things. Oh, yes, that is what the person is talking about. So, oh no, my professor asked for a PowerPoint. I'm now in foreign territory and I don't know what to do. Well, here are 5 key principles for a successful presentation. And like I said, please raise your hand as we go through them, as I try to demonstrate these things. If you are interested in one particular aspect of what I have said, I will make this video public. It'll take a week or so, and it'll be posted a certain place. If you would like that link, you can contact me. Also, I can make just the PowerPoint slides themselves available, but most of the information will be done directly on like the recording on the screen. So without any comments, do we have any comments? How many of you, let's show maybe a raise of hand, like a literal hand or a Zoom hand. How many of you feel confident in your ability to use PowerPoint? So some of you have, yes, you have confidence in using. Thank you for that response. The rest of you, yeah, Selena, do you feel like you have confidence, or is this a new thing?
I'm a little confident. I just don't know. I just don't know how to do the fancy. I can, do a plain slide. That's it.
Right. Yeah. So that's definitely what we're going to dig into. That's probably pretty easy, is to create the bullet points and to move into something that's along more professional development. Okay. So we are going to start right here, and I'm going to post my comments here. But first, before we do any typing, let's just go over the basic rules for text. And there are kind of, when I remember using PowerPoint and someone demonstrated this, it actually makes a lot of sense, and it really helps you think through your message or what you're presenting in a way that makes it concise. So if you're all over the place, having this this principle right here. So you want to, in the best PowerPoints will limit to 4 lines of writing, and that of course is the only that's of course only the main points. In my PowerPoint, I've limited it to 4 lines of text. So I have my main rules for text here, and then I will have 3 subpoints underneath that. And I don't know if you've ever seen a presentation that has 10 lines of text. what you want to do is just kind of read along through it, and you can get very distracted if you're taking notes. I've seen this many times. If you're presenting to a class, whether that's a church or Sunday school, something like that, people who take notes write what's on the PowerPoint, and they will very easily tune you out and just write down that information, because that's taking all the things you're saying and putting it into 10 lines. It can be very, very distracting. All right. Use standard fonts. That's kind of basic. Like Times New Roman is pretty can get boring. This is close to Times New Roman, but there are various different things that you can do, and I'll show you that in a second. How to get standardized fonts and colors and different things like that through the design function. All right, and just one more thing. When you use fonts, this font is size, I believe it's size 28. You don't want to have any size 12 font, size 12 font. So if we're creating a presentation, this is actually size 36. If this were on a screen or something like that, you could read it from a distance. Okay, so of course, if we're going down, and these things are very something like that. This is you know, zoom in and out. But anyway, can't read that from the back of the room. All right, so that's our 3 points on adding text. Here I've used this is a customized. This is a bullet list. Bullet points are great. Subpoints are great. All different types of things that you could use, boxes, arrows, etc. Those are things you can learn how to use, numbers, etc. So one thing that I did do for this little presentation is, and now I'm suddenly blanking where it is. I did here, sorry, wow, that's in the normal place. I did make the spacing a little bigger. If you make it normal, I think it was even closer. It looks pretty close. But a 1, if you change the spacing to 1.5 or something like that, it really gives it a little bit more like clarity. You can read it easily if it's 1.5 versus, you know, just the standard 1.0. So just the simple way of changing that is to highlight that. If you want one thing to take from the presentation that saves you from the annoying step of trying to grab and highlight, you hit the Control key and the A key. And practice that right now in a document if you would like. The Control key and the A key, that's a shortcut for any Microsoft, and it's so helpful. I mean, it just really speeds up the process. There are a few others like that. I'm sure there's redo and undo, Control Y and Control Z. You can also use them if you would like, but that's not our aim here on through today's lesson. All right, so we've talked about adding text. Now we're going to format background. There's a tendency to get really focused on the background, but we never want it to be something that takes away from the presentation. If the student or a person watching, your fellow classmate, is looking at the background and is obviously distracted by that, that's not a good idea. How do you change the background? Well, unfortunately, there's a number of ways which you can find, but the easiest way that I would remember is I am right-clicking anywhere on the slide, not on the text, right-clicking on the slide, and obviously right there is our format background. If you have any questions, let me see, I don't see all of you, see most of you. Please just let me know. I'm now going to do the format background, and backgrounds should be consistent. And so here we go, format background. This window comes up. Solid fill is an easy option, gradient fill. I've never seen anyone use something like that like certain patterns. I'm not big fan of that. You can also use a picture. However, you have to be very careful about what picture. I use you can hit insert, and that's just going to go to your pictures or a different file. And here I have somewhere in here, one of these I downloaded recently is a background. So can I please have an option? Nope. So here's a background I found, and it's not the best looking, but I could use that. Like, it's not taking away. Now, throughout the PowerPoint presentation, I would strongly recommend you use the same background for each. And the way you could easily do that, format background, you go down to apply to all. And now I have a background for everything, just like that. So there are other buttons here. These are just artistic effects, things that we really don't need to work with today. You can change, you can mess around with the picture presentation, picture coloration. And there now I've turned it to gray. These are just little things that you kind of just can pick up on. And if I really wanted to recolor it, I could pick any of those options. So no, yeah, we're gonna just leave it like that. Anyway, so we're there. So it's consistent. This is a subtle or neutral colors are often the best backgrounds. Anything that's bright yellow or in your face, it's very distracts from the text is a bad idea. And my personal choice is always black or white or gray. Well, black or white. Usually think about I give presentations sometime in a room that has a lot of natural light. So you want to use black background with white text. Now, if you're in like a darker room or something like that, or it doesn't have a lot of natural light or light and the lights are turned off, then you could use whatever you like. You could have black text on white, etc. But think about that. What's the lighting like? What kind of color text should I use? How does the background take away or add to my presentation? All right. Take a break there just to think for a minute. If you have any questions, you're of course welcome to try this out on a PowerPoint. Maybe while we're doing it, I don't know, that's easy for you as you use Zoom, but things you could practice it immediately after this presentation. So that's some of the background options. I'm actually just going to change this because I don't quite like it. Solid fill. I'm going to go with that coloring black again because it's just easier. And then again, apply to all. So, all right, we'll move on. That's principle 2. Principle 1 was text. Principle 2 is format background. Talked about a number of things there. All right, and this is where, for me, this is where the fun begins. I am a nerd, a PowerPoint nerd. I spend far too much time creating PowerPoints and doing it and switching it over and over and over again. And I'll show you an example of one of my slides, and I probably worked on it for an hour. And it's a time waster. And really, I got to remember what I'm actually trying to do. Anyway, graphics are important when giving a description or evoking an emotion. So if you're talking about a loss of something, you're talking about a certain place, you're talking about some theme, of course you want some sort of picture. Just basic solid colors and text, after a while they all look the same. And there are a million different designs that you don't have to make, but the PowerPoint will. So these design button, that's where we're going to kind of park for the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes or however long it takes. So the first question is, where do I get pictures? Well, you want to be careful that you're not stealing a very heavily copyrighted image, especially if you're presenting this in a very large formal audience. Maybe you do, I don't know. But the best images and the very, how should I say, well-regulated search engine, I use Pexels. Hopefully, I hope you can see this. Pexels, just look at that, Pexels. If you're going to bookmark anything, I would bookmark Pexels.com. Pexels is a free, high-quality image search engine. People post just regular, private, I don't know, photographers, amateur, etc. And let's just, someone give me a term that you might present on, something very descriptive. Can you think of anything off the top of your head? I'm not like going in a certain direction.
Oh Lord, what did I do? Crime.
Did you say crime?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one. The thing about Pexels is I was searching for someone who is bored and sort of like negative things like that. They don't have much. But so here are the photos. Crime scene, do not cross. That's a pretty basic and helpful image. It's not someone committing a crime, which I don't know if we'd want that. There's a person in prison, a dark room. This, you have like the riot police, and some of these are quite graphic here. Someone's hacking into the Pentagon or something. And some very interesting, yeah, so some of these are very not explicit, but direct. So this guy looks like a criminal. Anyway, that is, let's pick one that's pretty basic. I'm going to pick this one. And this will be my graphic. Let's say I'm giving a presentation. I'm going to download it. First, I'm going to download. It's going to go to your download folder. That's where it lives. Just remember that when you're going to paste it onto your PowerPoint. I'm just going to download that, and it's going to give it a name. Something like Pexels Cat Wilcox. It's the person who took the photo. I'm giving a presentation on crime, and I'm going to post a picture of the crime scene tape. I don't have to write any text on the PowerPoint if I don't want to, and this does not distract from my presentation. If I posted a picture of someone picking a lock or something like that for crime, I think I would be very distracted by that image as person's talking about crime statistics. One other thing with the design function, it's best to keep your text even more limited. If you have a graphic, meaning a picture on your slide, that actually means you should have less text than four lines. So I'm going to take away this. I'm now going to insert a picture. Now, you can just go into Insert, Picture, and this is my computer. So this device, it's in my download folder. So this device. Hopefully, is that clear? If it's not, please let me know. I'll just repeat that. I have limited my text to one line, and I'm going to go find that picture in the download file, and I'm going to click on Pictures and this device. So I've been using download folder all day, and this first thing that pops up, it's over here, downloads, and I'm going to click on this one, and there it inserts. Now, the PowerPoint engine or whatever it is actually pretty smart. It'll pick up words in the picture, it'll pick up words in my text, and it will apply them to make a certain design, which is really interesting. I was surprised to see that. So I have only a few, they're not giving me too many options that look amazing. And you can scroll and scroll and scroll to get to this. This comes up automatically for me when I put in a picture. I think that does for everyone. It's under design and then design ideas. So it would look like this originally, and then I would click on this. So it's given me a number of options. Some of them present the entire picture. These after a while look all the same. Anyway, so I'm going to go with something with a fade. So where was that? So they made the text for me. They have adjusted the text type. So we want to look at what it is. That's actually, this is the same text, just it's in headings as this one here. This is the body text. You don't need to worry about that because the design function will give you a new text. If you don't like it, of course you can change it, but it stylizes and kind of uses everything, and somehow it brings together an alternate text. So I'm going to use, if I use that one, I can do all sorts of things there. So that is the design function. Design takes your pictures and it makes them more prominent. If you want something that's not so prominent, like not taking up the whole slide, you could do that, depending on what you're talking about. My final point was about the text. One of the most powerful, more powerful than a lot of text, is just an image by itself, or an image with only a few words, because this is already communicating a lot. And having you talk in front of an image can be more effective than you talking in front of 4 points of text and an image. So that is one of the most, I'd say, key things in PowerPoint that they've developed, and it is a great help to students everywhere. So I would encourage you, if you can minimize me, you can still hear me, you can pull up your own PowerPoint and just start doing whatever you want to do. That is perfectly fine. But also, yeah, if you have questions, please let me know. So we've added graphics, we've added text. We have very little text with our graphic. What else have we done? We have formatted the background. So there's our background. Now we just use the design function. So this is pretty much basic stuff that I've already said. It organizes by color and graphics, select similar designs for each slide. That means like it can create some pretty wild designs, but you want to keep it similar, like perhaps it's on the left side of the screen and the text is on the right side of the screen and then left. something that maybe in boxes or a certain shape, but you want to keep it pretty similar. Any questions about the design function?
No question.
No question. All right. So
What did I have a question?
Yes, please go ahead.
The design function, when they put a picture that you put into when you put a topic into the picture, and then the design function in places that, and then it changes the orientation if you pick more than one design, correct? I had problem uploading the whole thing. My instructor had to show me how to upload it correctly, so I would get credit for it.
So was there
It wasn't a, go ahead.
Was there any problem with the design of the PowerPoint that kept it from uploading?
No, it was it wasn't because of the design. It's the way I went into it to tell it to upload it.
Right. So
I was trying to drag and drop, and that did not work.
Oh, okay. So if I go onto Canvas, I have access to maybe 1 or 2 classes. You're saying if I go into an assignment and I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking for. Let's see if I.
Are you asking what my class was? I can't see
No,
that.
I'm just looking at seeing how you insert assignments, and this is not showing me, and I don't have access.
Well, I think, can I?
Yeah.
So I experienced yesterday, I think they made some adjustments to Canvas. So you can only upload, it appears to be a PDF. So if you try to upload a PowerPoint extension, the PPX or whatever, it won't allow you to do that, even with Word. It has to be a DOC or it has to be a PDF. So that may have been the issue.
Okay.
Down there yesterday.
I see.
Okay. Yeah, whatever she did, I guess she changed it to that, and it was ended uploaded into the assignment place. But I was like, it's supposed to be easy. I thought it would be easy, and I tried to upload it to the recording thing in Canvas. What is that? The little computer with the blue lines and the dots at the bottom. Studio. I couldn't think of the name of it. I couldn't even upload it to Studio, so it took her a couple tries to get it in. So I guess that's what I have to work on.
Let's talk about converting a PowerPoint to PDF. It can be done. I have turned my PowerPoints into files to use in like a video because PowerPoint doesn't easily translate into a video software or whatever. So the way we do that is, let's say I want to turn this slide and this slide only. You have an option of doing everything or not everything. Now, if you want to, let's see, I just went to File. So it's File, Export, and change file type. So let's go over that one more time at least. File, we're going down to Export. We're going to export it from its usual file, whatever, to something very different. Now, there's all these options. There is, here is an option for a PDF, but I just want to do one. So if I clicked on this, I'm not sure exactly what would happen. Let's find out. I'm now publishing that PowerPoint in PDF XPS. I'm not sure exactly what that is. And here it is. See what they got for me. Well, they didn't like my video, of course. It's PDF. And yeah, okay, now it's loading. So it does work very simply. This uploaded immediately to my SharePoint, meaning my my OneDrive, my LBC account. So there you go. Now, let's say you're like me and you want it to live on your computer. You want an actual file that you can easily put on your desktop so you don't forget about it. All right, so the way I used to do it, I didn't know that you could do PDF. I try for just a picture file. Anyway, File, Export. So here's the option that's really easy, but if you just want to put it, change file type, and then I'm looking for JPEG, save as another file type, save as, let's see if they give me that option. PDF. Okay, so that was file, then export, change file type, and then change to another file type. So this is much more difficult, but it's the way I guess I learned. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to hit save, and it's going to ask me a question. Do you want to, yes, I want to replace it. Okay, anyway, there are ways to save one at a time, but I don't think any of you are going to need that, like, unless you're making a video. Anyway, so that was my world for a while. And if for some reason it's still, oh, I'm surprised. Okay, I know what I did. So file, export, I'm learning this too. And then when I click this, oh yeah, there's my LBC account. Instead, I'm going to put it on my desktop, and there we go. And that will put it on my desktop where I'm saving it. I wasn't noticing. Anyway,
that's what she did. That was the one thing she did. She put it on the desktop so I could just pick it up from the desktop.
Right. I always
easy.
I always save the desktop because it can get lost in certain files and I don't even know where it is. All right, is everyone clear or clearer on how to save a PowerPoint? This new issue, I guess, for me anyway. Save a PowerPoint as a PDF. Anyone not clear? Let's put it that way. All right, speak now, or we'll just move right on. Okay, thank you for that. I don't have to upload PowerPoints on a regular basis, but that's interesting. I'm surprised because I think I remember uploading PowerPoints. Well, that was a long time ago when I was LBC undergrad. Okay, so we've used the design function. Now, if you're going crazy like me and you like a whole lot of things, you can create a slide like this. So this was for 5 different presentations at a church, and the original title was something like this: questions that our world is asking. We're talking about meaning and being created in the image of God. So I uploaded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pictures, and I hit design. Sometimes it doesn't like it and it'll do like a various other things. So this, took a little time, a little formatting and things like that. So how could we change this? Let's see what it would do. If I click the design function, it has all of this information. It's thinking about it, and it creates this. It just switches the pictures around. It creates this or that. What am I focusing on? That's war in Afghanistan, Chinese marching military, all of these things. And those sorts of things I don't like to use because it's in bubbles. But if you put multiple pictures, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the max. After that, it just like says, what are you doing to me? So if you're like me and you like to nerd out on these sorts of things, you can really get in pretty deep. So that was a PowerPoint I've used probably 10 times. I don't know. All right, so where were we actually in this webinar? Animations and transitions. Now, if you make your PowerPoint and you have all your text, you then realize I need to do 2 things. So this is talking about animations first. So I click on, let's say, a line of text, or I can click on the whole thing. I highlighted the whole thing. Animations are just making each line appear by itself because you don't want it all popping up at once. So here are a few options. However, anyone who's going to add animations to a slide is going to go to the animation pane. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck using this toolbar here. So this is 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to delete these because I'm going to see how you. Okay. Anyway, get rid of it. Remove. And this is the one thing in PowerPoint that nobody likes, and I don't know why. It could be made easier, but anyway, I don't work for Microsoft. There are my 3 lines. I've highlighted them. And I think the best animation is up here because it kind of fades in. You're not distracted by any animation. It's just there. And up here, I click on it. Now, what happens is you see this 1, the first click I make, all 3 pop up at once, and that's not what we want. So this is the animation pane again. We're over here, we come over here, and let's say they're not highlighted at first. So what you want to do is you can hit Control A. Control A highlights them all and turns orange, or you can just highlight them manually, which is kind of annoying. So Control A really is the only way that it works very, very quickly. So Control A, they're highlighted, and then it gives me the option of ungrouping them. And if you're completely lost, please let me know. But what you do is you hit the down arrow and you click the first option. 1, 2, 3. What that means is, if I'm in the slideshow, I turn it on for current slide. 1, 2, 3. That's hopefully not. It hopefully makes sense. Maybe the mechanics of it all, or the step by step. Please let me know if you're missing something or I went over too fast. Okay, so that's animations. They provide clean transitions between points. Animations, the emphasis, exit, and move categories are not a good idea for adults, unless you're presenting to children, perhaps. Yes, Sharon, you have a question?
Can you do that one more time?
Okay, sure. I'll just get rid of these. Whoops. So to remove an animation, you don't like it, you just remove. Yeah, the really only way to do it that makes sense is to highlight everything in your paragraph or in your box. You're making an animation. So there's a tab for that, animations. And right now I have my animation pane. This is where you do the ordering, what comes up when. So I turn it off, turn it on. And what do I want to do? I want to make all of these. Okay, let's pick something else. Fly in. But they all fly in at once, and I want to talk about each one individually. So currently they're all highlighted. I click on the bottom arrow and start on click, and what it's done is gone 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Now it's not that animation is kind of interesting. Okay.
Thank you.
So, yep, no problem. Let's see here. There are other things you can do. These are often just kind of bizarre, unless you have a picture or something that you really want to fade or something like that. You can, animations work on pictures as well. All right, transitions. Hopefully the easiest part of it, the easiest part of this presentation to apply is you go up to transitions. What happens between slides? Do they fade from one to the other? Did one move up and the other come in, split random bars? You can just pick, see here, fade. I would pretty much stick with fade. It looks more professional. And now that I've created an animation and transition for my slide, I can look at it, but also apply to all. That way you don't have to go into each one, apply to all, you don't have to worry about it again. So let's just take a look, slideshow from current slide. It faded in because the title was part of the slide. 1, 2, 3. So simple translation is the best way. It can be applied to all slides. All right, so at this part of the presentation, I hope you're not feeling this because I was talking to a student, was talking about public speaking class, and I said, well, I hate to break it to you, but when you start speaking, you don't have probably even 100% of your audience, because if it's in a church, baby's crying, it's just sound, something falls off of the bench, kid does something, hits their head. Anyway, there's always a distraction. I've experienced that. It can be very frustrating. You don't have 100% at the beginning concentration, and generally it can really decrease if you are not an effective speaker, particularly if you speak same speed, same volume, and monotone. Yes, raised hand.
You said that about the presentation, but to put it on a time loop, if you're not at that point in the presentation, I've just been forwarding the page instead of, does it have to always be automated where it's just going to run? Because if I pause or if I.
Do you mean the PowerPoint, like the timing?
Yes.
I'm manually just pressing the arrow.
Okay, that's okay. That's what I was doing. That's why I wanted to make sure that was the right thing.
So you can automate.
Go ahead.
You can automate, but I've never actually done it because I speak too irregularly. All right. Some reason it's not letting me do anything. There. Okay. So you lose your audience's attention span. You lose a lot of that. You got to keep that percentage, at a not, you don't want it dipping down below like 50%. Otherwise your people might be falling asleep. Anyway, so there are a lot of boring presentations out there. How do we keep from being boring or having a PowerPoint that is not a good fit for our presentation, that does not support our presentation? One is wild animations. And I remember someone giving a PowerPoint and they're quite cool, but I don't remember really what they were talking. You don't remember what they're talking about, because if I do something like this, anyway, it's supposed to change colors too, but it's something like that. I mean, there it is. That's very distracting. Also, we talked about don't use complex transitions. And also the PowerPoint isn't the main focus of your presentation. It's you and what you're speaking. And the biggest one that makes a presentation boring and makes people, kind of sleepy is if you read from your PowerPoint word for word. Now, it takes a certain level of understanding of your topic and practice to not look at your PowerPoint and read it. You reference what's being said, what's being posted. So I posted wild animations, and I can talk about wild animations for a while, but I'm not going to just look at it and read it along with the audience. So that means you have to know your stuff. And that can be one of the most difficult parts of working through public speaking, especially if you're nervous. You tend to want to rely on the PowerPoint, but you have to know what you're proving, what your motivation is for speaking. So those are some pitfalls. Okay, let me think if I've missed anything. We definitely spent some time on this. First of all, is there anything you want to see again? Guess not. All right. So now I will move on to this, and obviously contact info. It's pretty basic. aliphilly@lbc.edu, or my personal or my work email, and eberly@lbc.edu. If you do want to schedule an appointment to talk about PowerPoint in person or online, that is a great investment for later on. You might not think it's urgent and important right now, but later on, it's something skill that can save a lot of time. If you can fly through, or at least at a pretty quick pace, put together a PowerPoint, that's a skill you'll use on and on throughout school. If you're speaking in church or business, our world has a lot about uses PowerPoint a lot. So yes, Sharon.
So is there an average number of slides that you should have in a presentation? I know sometimes your professor or instructor will, tell you how many slides you should have, but in general, if you're just putting a PowerPoint together on your own.
Right. So the first time I gave a presentation in front of people, I think I talked for 45 minutes. I think I had about 30 slides.
Oh, Jesus.
Too much. The thing was, I was showing pictures a lot. I was showing pictures, some words. It was crazy. The last time I did that kind of the same topic, I think I used 3 because it was heavy material. So I had maybe an introduction, main topic. We were talking about postmodernity and like philosophy. It was very heavy. You don't want to move from anything past that initial sentence. You got to keep it there. Now, if you're talking about James chapter 5, verses 1 through 8, then I would say you're talking for 30 minutes, 5 slides plus a title slide and an ending slide comes to 7. I think the average time you spend talking about a PowerPoint slide on a regular subject is 7 minutes. I want to say 7. That's what comes to mind. So if you're talking for an hour, you might have 6, 7, 8, 9 slides. However, if you're talking something that is new to your audience and they don't know what they don't have a hook to hang it on, you don't move fast. You have minimal number of slides. Yeah, and if you're talking about an example, If you're giving an example of something, so I talked on this principle, I'm now going to talk about a conversation I had with somebody from this religion, whatever. I put up a picture, no words, okay? That's one thing I forgot with the board picture. A picture by itself is good because then you talk, the message from the photo is received, but they focus on what you're saying. There's nothing wrong. You don't need text if you're giving an example, certainly. And even if you're giving maybe just one sort of thought. So that's, yeah, that is a great question because you want to kind of portion it out 7, 10, 5, 10 minutes, who knows, per slide. And if it's heavy, you want to stick on just a few. Okay, other questions?
Our presentation is 5 to 7 minutes. So we're not even talking about a half an hour of presentation of a public speaking critique.
And can you explain the assignment a little more?
We have to do an outline of what our topic is. Now I didn't get the outline right because there was a set a picture of an outline. So I was told to put it in an outline, but if I got the criteria right, I wasn't understanding. So I guess that would help me stay more on point. But 7 to 8 minutes, I don't think any of them are longer than that for any of the presentations that we had to do with the instructor. And some people went over that. And after that, when we have to critique each other, I'm like, if you got a 10-minute slide, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to watch that. It's too much. It takes up too much time when I have to be, you know, for me.
So if you have a 7 or 10 or a 10, 8 to 10, whatever, somewhere in that range.
5 to 7 is what is written in the syllabus. 5 to 7 minutes is written in the syllabus.
And if you have a PowerPoint, how many slides? Title slide, you really need an intro. You really need that intro, like a paper. If you have 5 paragraphs, you have that intro.
Right.
And then really what you stick after that is really what the PowerPoint's all about. If you have one slide with 4 lines and it adequately covers your topic, now I'm speaking from my thoughts, that would be a win. Now, honestly, you're probably going to do something like this, and this is what you should do. 1 slide for each point. So you could have 4 slides, but 1 point. You stay very like ding, ding, ding. You're not elaborating and referencing all the points at once, and you're just kind of only that in the conclusion or something like that. I don't know how your topic is, but I would say if you have 4 slides, and there's really only a line of text on each one, or perhaps there's an example or there's a graphic. Something like that. I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. That's a lot though. I mean, I think you could shrink that down. Ask your professor first.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would want a presentation that has 1 slide with those 3 points on, because that would help me keep track. And you don't have the flip effect where it's like ding, 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 and then you just keep seeing different slides, and the memory it's just gone. The short-term memory doesn't handle that well. So that's kind of my in-between answer. Yeah.
Well, I was doing a reading from the written paper that's supposed to be with the slides, but I take that back. There is a video that we have to record these information. We have to record it and show an example of aids, visual aids, whatever aids to get your point across. AIDS, aids to get your point across.
Yes.
How to insert those kind of things. So I had way more than that. I think I have nine slides, but it's very quick presentation. It's not a whole lot of printing words in it. And so she'll critique me on what she did, but so far it's only been 5 to 7 minutes for each recording.
Right.
Thank you for clarifying. And she's kind of tough. So you're right. I would have to ask her to define what she wants.
So basically what you're saying is the general rule for PowerPoint is really to have less words, more picture, and more of your own conversation of
Yeah,
explaining the subject matter.
I would say that's correct. I wouldn't say you don't want graphics or a picture for the sake of just having a picture. That picture should really represent something that it should be important. Like it should have to be there to be a good presentation or to be a better presentation. I would say yes, 4 lines of text is the hardest rule for people to stick by. But then after that, it's your conversation. If you're not tethered, like you're not leashed to the PowerPoint or whatever, you can walk around, you can use your hands, you're not focusing on the text. That's the idea. Yep.
Thank you.